Well, howdy doody, howdy doody. Yeah, and you're back with, you know what it is, Talvin what? I take Talvin talks in, I chew, and I spit it out. Yeah, so anyway, I wanted to say this. You know, it's easy to lose motivation at a time where everyone seems to be wanting to, basically, since it feels like no matter what you're doing, whether you're a singer, songwriter, performer, lawyer, doctor, customer service, perfectionist, literally, if you feel like there's no positions left or an industry's dying that you want to go for, or there's too much competition for what you want to get and you feel like you're too far behind, let me tell you, I have learned through my own adversities that you just need to have a plan, and that plan has to move in the same direction as yourself and not really go against your own heartbeat, because that's when the problem begins. Dietary is everything, because you need to function. You are the machine that's going to be carrying this job out, and it doesn't matter if you're starting at the very basics. Come on, man, there's YouTube, there's Google, there's everything to figure things out. And so many people I have said, well, you can't get hold of a doctor, go onto Google and ask the right questions, check this out and check that out. Sadly, most people are like, oh, I don't want to get scared, or I don't want to face this or face that. So a lot of people are living in denial. Gosh, man, and for the first time in my life, listen, I'm not perfect. Far from it, but I realized that I am in a bit of denial about a few things, but those things I've had to turn a blind eye to that were keeping me down, in the sense of I'd pick myself apart so much. I'd see things that weren't there physically, mentally. I was draining myself. I'd take on things just so I didn't have to be alone, and so much things like that was crazy. And now I have to turn a blind eye to see, oh, I don't like people's company at this point. I should like my own. I'll ignore the fact that I feel I look this way, and even if I do, and so what, there's more to me than that. And to moments where I'm feeling on top of the world, and I definitely am turning a blind eye to all the negativity, and I'm walking past people and they're giving me all the negatives on a day when I just need to stay strong, and that can really, really happen. And not just that, let me talk about the dating situation. Everyone I know who's on a dating app, who's trying to find, let's call it love, they're bombarded with just pure sexual innuendos. I'm crossing the road now, so it's important. Sexual innuendos, and they're shocked by it. Now, I'm a gay man, and mostly, we all know men can be woo, and girls can be woo. So, there's two types of species in sex when it comes to dogs, and what they're called. And realistically, no one is looking for that right now. I think it'd be stupid for anybody to really think that they're going to get in a relationship and it's going to work after everything that's happened during lockdown. Sorry, but it's the truth. I mean, that whole process was to teach us to literally learn to be better people, do a bit better, be a bit more, learn more about ourselves. And that's the only way things can last, because once you know yourself, you're aware of yourself, you have to meet somebody like-minded, because people are just throwing themselves into relationships that are lost in 2 weeks, and they're including marriages with it, sacred things. People are dipping into coming away from their faith, and which has been good for them, and denouncing it either via pressure of society, or they weren't feeling it anyway, but they are the people that get publicized, so people lose hope. Then the therapist, everyone's scared of that, but yet there's advertisements all over the place for therapy, and I'm an advocate for therapy, but you need to know you need to be aware that nothing's a miracle. It takes work. So no, nobody's going to get in a relationship. Not at this point in time. Come on. Are you serious? And not just that, I do believe, listen, here's my advice. You want my advice? And this is taking it out of my own book. If you really want something that's long lasting, and the whole forever situation, dating wise, I think it's best that you know yourself, find yourself, know your triggers, because then you can be in control if someone's triggering you or not. And then you pick people that won't try and fuel your negative loops. You know, like, oh, I need somebody with me 24/7, and you get a controlling person. Or I need just somebody I meet every Thursday, you know, and then you fall in love and the person doesn't want to commit. So you need to know a balance and find a person who's just as balanced. And usually, if you find yourself, know your career, what you want to do, you'll find somebody in that direction, because your career, your life, your passions, your desires, your self-worth are all going to be with you until you stop breathing. Oh, broken glass on the floor. Until you stop breathing, right? So, correct. That's how a person's going to stick with you, because there's going to be a point in your relationship where you can't carry everything. Like, your partner's going to get down, your partner's going to be sad and not be able to do the things that they once were, or they will change. Like, everyone changes throughout life, but you'll have to change together. Now, you have to be accepting that you're going to have to go against yourself, carry weights, change when the person has changed, and or remain the same, and be patient. There's so many things in a relationship that is long-standing. And listen, you straight people, getting knocked up is not the first thing to do straight away to save a relationship. I'm seeing that so much between all 25-year-olds and down, and some of them even with kids that they can't manage. Can you believe that? Well, I say this. Oh no. Well, I say this. Do you, for now, focus on you. If you are going to have sex, do it safely. If you are feeling like you're the kind of person that wants to wake up with the same person you just met and expect it to last forever, it's not true. Go get some help. There's things inside of you that need to be addressed, otherwise you're going to keep getting hurt. And people who are just banging around senselessly thinking, oh, I've got no emotions attached to just banging around. Hello, you're going to meet the person that you were fully attracted to, who have all the right qualities, say all the right things, and they're not going to be interested, but that's you banging around, and they're not going to take you seriously because that's who you presented so confidently. Well, you know, it's the truth. But you know, I get it. Just in those moments when you feel like you can't hold any of that, pray, have faith, believe in something more than yourself, reach out, and be patient. And in fairness, let me just say this on a note. As I'm single, I'm literally trying to learn discipline, because if I don't learn discipline in staring at half the sexy guys that these days seem to be floating about for some reason, like they're genetically engineered from the Rocky Horror Show. If you know that movie, go and check it out, what the guys look like in there. Maybe more so Rocky. There's a character called Rocky there who's been made. But anyway, if I don't learn the discipline now, not looking up at every guy thinking, oh, I'm single, I can have any one of them. Not meaning I'm arrogant, but when I'm in a relationship and I get bored or something goes wrong, is that what I'm gonna do? And that's me saying it. So know yourself. And there's me looking again. But know yourself, know your worth, and try your best and be considerate. And my whole point is not to change people, not to govern anyone's life, but to give homegrown testimonial facts that I think will be beneficial to anyone that needs to hear it. Love you loads. Thanks for coming back to Talvin Talks. Love you loads.